we must embark on the journey of public speaking. But then to overcome fear, we must be able to be prepared. We need to prepare before you come on stage. Don't come on stage in ignorance. It's way to overcome it. You must be able to practice it, effectively practice at home. You must be able to rehearse. You must master your audience and have a mastery of the concept of presentation. As I mentioned, here on the show we cherish diversity. In the house, we have people with different passions, people from different walks of life. And that's one thing about public speaking. You cannot specialize in every aspect of public speaking. And that's why you see public speaking has different domains of specializations. So now we get to Oliver, who's going to be exposing us to the different domains of public speaking, so that as a person who anticipates to specialize, who anticipates to be able to speak in public, we should not only come and speak as we should know what exactly we're talking about and what field we're listening to.
Alright, thanks so much, Flo, once more. Before I want to talk about the different domains of public speaking and niches and where you can actually go based on your talent set or your soul set and your skill set, I want to say that make this very clear. There's what we call the unconscious incompetence. The unconscious incompetence is a situation whereby there are a lot of people who don't know that they don't know, especially when it comes to public speaking. And that's why you see people organizing public speaking master classes, and they don't know that they don't have the content to organize these master classes. And it is a dilemma. Like you don't know something. It's totally crazy. So some people do a lot of things in ignorance, and they destroy the field, the profession. And that's why some people actually, they talk of motivational speakers, and they actually make a lot of fun of motivational speakers, because we have motivational speakers. Everybody who calls himself motivational speaker, he's not certified, he doesn't have the right skill set, the right knowledge set, the right soul set, and they actually run the industry. So types of competence, there are people who don't know that they don't know. Unconscious incompetence. And then we have people, we should call them the unconscious competence. There are people who don't know that they know. Like for instance, there are professions like driving. Like when you know how to drive, you don't know that you're driving. Once you get to your car, you just start driving. You don't really know at times how you get to overcome some challenges in the course of driving. That's unconscious competence, and that's quite amazing. And then we equally have what we call the conscious incompetence. There are people who know that they don't know. The conscious incompetence. Now these are amazing category of people I love to work with. These are people who are learning, and that's why we have people here who came to learn the skill of public speaking, how to scale up their games. They are actually conscious, they don't know, and that's why they're here. And those are people who go to school who want to seek knowledge because they don't know. They know that they don't know, and that's why they seek for knowledge. And then we have the last category of competence, which we call the conscious competence. These are people who know that they know. Have you ever met somebody in your life and the person speaks so confident and he tells you that he's correct in everything he says? Like he knows so much that he knows. And most people tend to say this guy is proud, this lady is arrogant, she's proud. And that is the level I expect each and every one of us to be by the end of this talk. Okay, so let's dive a little bit to the different domains of public speaking. First, we have what we call the ceremonial speaking. Ceremonial speaking. Just from the name, ceremonial, it just begins to depict that, okay, speaking in ceremonies, like graduation ceremonies, like we have on marriage ceremony or anniversary, and we have equally on death ceremonies and stuff like that. Now, when you have ceremonial speaking, now we have what we call the impromptu. Right? We have the manuscript. Now, the impromptu, we have the memorized. So, the impromptu speeches mostly happen in ceremonial speakings. Like, for instance, have you been to a birthday or to a marriage anniversary or to a wedding, and they just appoint you to give a talk or to say something? Plus, has it happened to you before? Yes. Beautiful. And you're like, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to say? That is impromptu, and it happens mostly in ceremonies. That they just ask you to come out and state your expectation. Maybe you're not expecting that. That is kind of ceremonial and it's impromptu time. So in that case, what do you do? What do you do? So you must master quote. Like, I love what Gottran did. I think that's one of the best expectations I got was from Gottran. Like, he came up and he said, a bike cannot run without fuel. Did you get that? That's powerful. Now that's the best way you can present yourself in an impromptu situation where they ask you to say something you had no idea. Bring out a quote, expatiate on that, and have your seat. Is that making sense?
Oh.
That's powerful, and that's what he did, and that's why he got my heart. After he stated his expectation, I don't know whether he knew what he did. He was amazing. How many of you enjoy what he did? Lovely, lovely. So that's the first ceremonial speaking. It has to do with impromptu speech. An impromptu speech is like, hey, you're just sleeping, you just have, you get up and talk on marriage, talk on leadership, talk on personal development, talk on time management, and you just begin to talk. And that is not possible if you're not a student. A student meaning that you have to constantly read, you have to constantly recite, you have to constantly be aware of what is happening around the world, the trends in the world, who are the people leading the world, how is the economy world going, how is the sport world going, how is the education world going. You need to be constantly updated with what is happening. So that's the first. So we have what we call the second right now is what we call the proactive speaking. You know, we have what we call the proactive speaking. It has so much to do with demonstration. You know, like, you know, a lot of people who speak, you know, without demonstrating what they're saying. Okay, we could also call that demonstrative speaking. Now you see a lot of pastors, they preach and they open up their hands. You know, you see a lot of comedians, you know, making their comedy and demonstrating and laughing, and you actually see the actions. Like you see, there was traffic along the way, and the fish was running, and the bird was flying. They're doing it and showing in such a way that if somebody does not hear, but he sees, he can understand at least what they are. So that's the second category or type of public speaking, which we call what? The demonstrative. So it's so amazing. Now the demonstrative here has also, it carries the type of impromptu, it carries the type of manuscript, right? So it carries this type of extemporaneous. Now, with extemporaneous speaking, it has to do with you can read and explain. You read and explain. You go to churches where the pastor is preaching, having a script in front of him. He literally reads everything, but at a certain point he pauses, and then he's trying to bring a story. He's trying to explain a story from the passage he has read. That's what we call the extemporaneous. So with that type, it has to do with demonstrative. He is actually demonstrating how Adam and Eve went to the Garden of Eden, cut the tree, the fruit, and they were eating and stuff like that. That's demonstrative.